Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and frag fans from all around the world. My name is Justin, aka Cyberwaste, and I would like to welcome you to CappingTV's coverage of ESL's Australia and New Zealand Championship Series, Season 1 for 2018, and we have a barn burner lined up for you. We have the team of Lucky 7 and Order about to lock horns in across two maps. And both of them have a lot to play for. Both of them are in the top 4 at the moment. But Order is holding on to a squeaky clean 6-0 so far this season, and they are wanting to hold on to that. And Lucky 7 are wanting to get a stronger foothold in the top 4. And we're currently live on the first map, which is Inferno. And as soon as we do go live, I'll run you down your starting lineups. So they're shanking each other. And just going through formalities. On the side of Order, we have Liaz, Sicko, Alistair, Hats, and Imagine. And on the side of Lucky 7, we have Zep, Lightstep, Animus, Inject, and Chris Wow. And these two teams have star-studded names all throughout them. And a couple of new faces as well. A couple of well-trodden out-of-country representatives in amongst the Order roster. Something is seeing to me. Another thing of note, there is another team with a clean record that Order will want to play catch-up to, that being Streamline, which have kept their clean run at the conclusion of this evening. But now we go into the opening pistol round. Order being your defenders and your attackers being on the side of Lucky 7. So all armor on the side of Order so far. Liaz is yet to make a commitment. He has gone with a smoke and a kit, so he will be the kit man. And the nade man on the side of Lucky 7 will be Animus, and everybody else will be getting the Kevlar to their name. Already got eyes on each other. Heavy Nana presence from two members of the Order thus far. A little bit of damage already exchanged. Alistair getting a little bit chucked up. The load man with the P2000. Emag and Alistair being the gatekeepers. Emag barely breathing now, thanks to the pot shots there. He's already moving towards apartments though. Lucky 7 doing a good job so far, locking some of the Order members in place to make this hit a little bit easier. But it will be an even fight if they choose to proceed. So wow, and Alistair getting a little bit of a jaw at the top Nana. Still getting a bit of damage exchange, and now Alistair down to 33. Chris being a real pest thus far, doing over 150 damage. With that block alone, they're spilling out towards the drop zone are a couple of members of Lucky 7, but the bomb is still at B. Two stalwart defenders. And Emag, despite being low HP, stole to the flower bed, but got put down by Chris Wow. And now Alistair being the only line of defense left will take out Chris Wow. The bomb will go down thanks to Eject. And now Order will have to order up a little bit of a rally and get themselves all square. Liaz will throw out a smoke to cut off a couple of the now defenders of Lucky 7 with the smoke. And the emo position will take out Alistair as well. Now Sicko getting eye to eye with Inject and will actually take his head off. Lightstep will take out Liaz. Too many L's are in succession, but now it's 2 versus 2. And the time is running out. Hats will rip off Lightstep's head. And Zep is all that is left, and he will say, I can do it myself. Taking out 2 and surviving with 5 HP. And in amongst that flurry, and me tripping over my tongue, we have a pistol round falling to Lucky 7. Now, what will Order do? Will they want to retaliate in swift succession? It looks like that is what they're going to do. With basically everybody being bored out with pistols and armor. A couple of them with head armor, which could be a bit of a callback later on down the line. 2 MP7s and a UMP45 and 2 AKs. The AKs will not be an issue, but the submachine guns might with the people with helmets. And I will keep making this point. The Australians love their deagles, so expect some melons to be cracked if Order has everything fall into line. This could definitely be a series of streaks, because Lucky 7 have won 4 of their last 5 maps, and Order are on a 5-run trot, and still have a clean record in this season thus far. So I wanted to keep that intact. A little bit of a friendly fire exchange. We're moving into 45 seconds. And Lucky 7 not really wanting to commit too hard until they know that everything is fine. 3 members of Lucky 7 are moving out towards the arch. And the bomb carrier of Animus is with them. Hats is still on the B side. They were planning on a B stack. Alistair will take out Lightstep. So the Deagle is paying off thus far. But Chris O'Well will silence him and say, no more shenanigans. The bomb will go down. Looks like Order will not even want to contest given how much they've invested. They want to carry one over, and that will be 3 pieces of head armor and a few pistols to carry over to the next round. That will be another one for Lucky 7. The weapon that was dropped will be unable to be retrieved. It's just on the other side of the map, and they deem it far too risky. It looks like Order are holding so tight they're not even moving towards Lower Banana. And, making the wise decision and thinking they've invested this much, it's not worth chasing, and that will be a 2 now for Lucky 7. And barring anything strange, we could see a 3rd. But knowing the weaponry that was carried over, could end up biting Lucky 7 really hard, especially if one of the pistols can get a rifle off of the table. That'll bolster the CT economy to no end, especially in this early stage. Hat's wanting to have a go. Does chunk Chris O'Wow down to 8, but he will survive, and Hats will be sent to the graveyard. So I guess with Hats playing with nothing to lose, he may as well step out. And gave it a good odd go, but it was not to be. If anybody is going to play as the sacrifice, that will be the number 3 man of Alistair, who will either be the recon man or just be the first point of call, because all he has is the USP, so he's got nothing really of value aside from the $300 price tag for a frag, unless one of the submachine guns will take him down. Just moving out towards the A side via Diggity. He did want to take his chances, did Alistair, but the USP is not all that strong in comparison to anything else. Now a 3 versus 5. Will they even want to go for it with the side of Order? Imagine we'll step out and chunk Zep down a little bit, but not going to happen. And the remaining 2 members of Order are hightailing it all the way out and carrying over what was carried over the round previous. And will Lucky 7 keep their clean sheet? Chris O'Well has come close to death, but he is still living on 8 HP and a frag to his name. So that'll be something to smile about, but both the members of Order will try and hole up in the church and the B site and try to survive. It looks like Lucky 7 are a little bit too slow to try and retaliate. So the mere formalities did go relatively cleanly in the grand screen. They did survive with 4 and then 5. So that's put the T economy in good stead. But we do have a buy coming in from Order. Mostly netted up, a little bit short for Imagine, but maybe they are wanting to go with their full fragging power. And there is no AWP on the table. A couple of subs carried over too, so I'm just feeling confident. Or just not wanting to give over a rifle should they need to drop it because the AK is traditionally more powerful than the M4, although some people prefer it over it. Imagine keeping an eye on Zeph in the boiler room will take him out of commission, so that will be a stiff reply from Order. Imagine isn't exactly coming off worse for wear though. He's down to 19. A stiff breeze could really knock him over. So they're locking most of the members of Lucky 7 out thus far. 2 members are on the B site proper, being Liaz and Hats, the biggest bromance in Australian CSGO, and I stand by that statement. Running down the clock, we're running down to 35 seconds. Lucky 7 will have to make a move. Utility may have given it away for Hats. The bro pass coming in for him, but he just got overrun by Animus and he will go down. Liaz will back him up though. And still keep the advantage. The bomb is down, but for how long? Liaz is just getting overwhelmed by the manpower. And Chris O'Wow will eventually strangle him to the grave. The bomb will move onto the site proper. Inject has it in his hands. He's punching in the digits and it will go down. Order is in a position to retaliate though. Alistair will take out one. Sicko will take out Inject. And Chris is all that stands. And Alistair will dispatch of him. A 2k for Alistair for Order. And that will be 1 round of the board with 3 members surviving and a couple of weapons salvaged. 3 AKs as a matter of fact. So that's exactly what Order would have wanted in the grand scheme of things. Especially knowing that Sicko and Liaz did get just pretty much overrun by the Lucky 7 attack. But that will be the first round of reply from Order. But it is not over yet. The AWP will be on the table for Inject. The T-side AWP is not all that common, so we'll be curious to see how he does to soften up a defense from Order. Still in the feeling out phase. Zeph is moving up towards apartments. Has spotted out Alistair and did take him out, but EMAG will quickly trade him. So soften the manpower a little bit, but may have given Lucky 7 a little bit of a window to try and exploit. But Sicko will rip Lightstep's head clean off and say, "No more stepping to me, son." And did go out of that exchange completely unscathed too. Sicko will get himself a second. Crystal while taking a pot shot from the balcony down towards the A side proper. Did scratch up Liaz a little bit. Sicko got legged but still survived and made Inject pay dearly for his arrogance. And now Crystal Wow versus 4. Well, essentially 2.5 if you count HP into things. Liaz on 40, Sicko on a singular digit, and Hats being the full HP player. And sadly, it is not to be. He faced the high HP player first, and Hats took him down. The gap shrinks for Order, and we are at 3-2. And the MP9's coming up from Alistair. And a full pistol buy, as a matter of fact. The Tech 9 train. It's coming back with 3 pieces of armor and a fully naded out Chris O'Wow. And they're running through a Molotov with reckless abandon. Liaz and Hats are combining, but the defense crumbled oh so quickly with that rush. Looks like just reckless abandon actually worked. The bomb carrier is in the site. That being injected, he is putting the bomb down. So in the grand scheme, mission accomplished. Now that he's actually salvaged a rifle too. Mag oh so low, but it is not to be. Alistair will reply with that, and 3 will survive. A couple of frags to the name of Lucky 7 and a bomb plant. You couldn't have asked for anything better aside from a round win in that particular scenario, given how much was invested. Depending on how you look at it, you could have either wanted a full round win or just with the way that they played, they just wanted to break the defense before it had a chance to set up and then just get the bomb down and defend and take it from there. Order and Lucky 7 will be in good standing with each other, and Inject will rip Sicko's head clean off. So that's one orb duel in the books, and Inject will get one up over his counterpart in Sicko. They'll definitely stun Order and make them think twice as to where they will defend, because with the way that Lucky 7 seems to be playing thus far, at least in the last few rounds that we've seen in the last few games that I've watched, they love the pack mentality. When push does come to shove, they just love smothering defenders. Wow does get tagged by Hats, and Animus will be taken out of the equation by said Hats. Do not underestimate him with an AWP in his hand. Wow will say no more of that and take him out of the round. 3 versus 4 for Order. Should they choose to move on, the bomb carrier has moved onto the site and put the bomb down. Imag is banking on a frag here at Woodfield, moving in through the church. And same with Alistair. Liaz being a little bit slow on the draw and coming in now. All 3 members have kits, so time is a tiny bit on this side. Inject being forced out of position by Liaz, and Alistair will finish off the scraps. Now we're in a 3 versus 3. Wow very low too, but he has a high power rifle. They're being tagged up through the smoke. The entire team lined up for him, and Zeph knocked him down by taking out Liaz, Alistair, and Imagine a huge 3K. And the penetrable objects of bodies of Order were all torn to shreds. And that will be Lucky 7 gaining the lead in the most heroic fashion, thanks to Zeph and his Kalashnikov. It's left Order in all sorts of disarray. Their entire CT economy is used, and thereby is a little bit fractured. The AWP is in the hands of Sicko. And he is an absolute terror when he wants to be. Stepping out towards the balcony again. Alistair's looking to meet him and spots his head and ripped it clean off. There's a lot riding on this match too. A clean record for Order, and Lucky 7 potentially moving towards 3rd or 2nd place in the standings, depending on how it all shakes out for Group A. So definitely no rest for the wicked, especially with this much on the line coming down to the end results. Coming down to 45 seconds, the entire team is set out towards Banana. Liaz and his CZ75, actually 3 members of Order are standing there, and Emag will take him out of the round, but Liaz, Emag, and Hats will combine and shut that push down. Quick smart. Now Lightstep is the only one left standing. We'll get one on the Emag, but has 3 members of Order to deal with, and Hats will silence him. We're all tied up, but Lucky 7 can actually make a choice whether to buy in or not, given their current economic standing. They can do something a little bit fractured with utility and a little bit of firepower, but it looks like they're choosing to err on the side of caution. A couple of PC-50s, a CZ75, and a Deagle and armor on Lightstep. A little bit of utility for Animus, but that was used real quick. Again, the Death Squad wanting to move in, but Emag and Sicko are saying, yeah, we're not going to let you get away with that. Now this quick and easy formality should come to a close very shortly. Thanks to Sicko. Look at it, wow, and he will slug him right in the mouth with a P250. Order to take the lead. And Order has been restored for now. The only real concern in terms of economy is wow being a little bit under the pump. So it might be a little bit starved for utility, but yes, the Mac-10, a bit of a curious choice. Let's see how he goes, but 3 AKs and the AWP on the back of Inject. The duel between him and Sicko will resume. has at top Nana has seen a commotion of activity already and is standing guard. And Chris Wow taking out Hats. There's actually a huge frag with the back 10. Inject did soften him up, so we can thank him a lot for that. It's left a potential weapon to be salvaged as well, which is something of note. And that's exactly what Chris has done. So now the T's have 2 AWPs. So one being chucked over the fence. Still in the early stages of this round, and knowing Lucky 7 do have a chance to tie it up with this tight tug of war going on at the moment, with Order just winning rounds in bursts of 3 and now 2. Hopefully, with the way things are panning out, they'll be able to swing it back. We've just gone down to 40 seconds. No time is called. The A site looks like to be the point of attack. And Crystal Whale putting the AWP to work and will take out Alistair. And EMAG denying the bomb plant, but only for a while it would seem. He was the lone defender in the pit. And now it is a 2 versus 4, and Order is having none of it with Liaz and Sicko, the dynamic duo, hold up in the B site and not wanting to move a muscle or even contest. So we're going to be tied up. And even after those 2 frags, one from the MAC-10 and one from the AWP, Chris Wow's contribution cannot be undervalued. It's actually quite huge to break open that point of attack on B and then just make everybody on Orders just sort of second guess themselves. Exactly. So free reign to move on to the A sites and take it at their will. We're all level going into round number 11. Oh boy. They're definitely not out of the woods on the side of Lucky 7 though. It looks like Order are buying in. The tug of war will continue. When it comes to utility, they're fully stocked on both sides. Except for Chris. Oh wow, slightly. Zeph in the apartments. Has he caught on to someone being boosted at the quad position? It may have been an audio cue to give it away. But Smoke will stop Chris Wow in his tracks. He's been licked by Molotov as well, so that doesn't really help things. He's been naded. Imag's been spotted through the smoke by Zeph, and Imag is quickly dispatched of and sent to the bench for the next foreseeable period. So Lucky 7 with the early man advantage, but Sicko will square that up, and so will Liaz. Lightstep will take out the heavy hitter of Sicko, so that's an AWP out of commission. That is a huge thing of note. A 2-man defense. Liaz is on the site and taking out 2, being Chris Wow and Lightstep, and now Inject and his AWP are all that remains for Lucky 7. Liaz has no idea and will be taken out by the AWP of Inject, and now a 1 versus 1. Inject has an idea, and Hats is too wise to it and will take out the AWPer. Does he pick up the AWP? No, he does not. He does not get there in time, but that will be Order taking the lead once more. And this tug of war will not end. Yes, they've come in bursts, but nobody's been able to get a true economic foothold. Order might be able to now with two submachine guns on the table. And 2 CZs, a P250, a Tech 9, and a Deagle. And a little bit of nades for good measure. Let's have getting chunked down hard. Getting the ego frag, but we'll only get 1. The MP9 of Imagine though will be raking into cash, taking out Chris Wow and Lightstep. Order cannot afford to lose any more men. Inject and it does legal all that remains, and now he is not remaining anymore. EMAG will make sure of that, and that is one round away from a half win for Order going into round number 13. Definitely did hype this up as a marquee matchup, knowing the caliber of these players that will be on display and that has delivered in spades thus far. I'm very confident in saying that. A bit utility staff on the side of Lucky 7, but aim will be the order of the day, especially with the CZ75 on the back of Chris. Wow, Inject will keep his prowess going by taking out Imagine and Alistair. Alistair was able to reply though. Sicko's the only line of defense thus far on the A site. Liaz has come to back him up though. We'll take out Chris. Wow, the bomb is down. It is up to Lucky 7 to hold off the CTs. All three CTs are moving out from the arts position now. Liaz and Hats are taken out as a pair, and now Sicko versus 3 Angry T's, and he seems far too valuable to even try to contest. He will leave a party gift for Zeph, but will Lightstep be wise to it and actually chase? Ejects want to have a go too, but it would appear that Sicko's in too far of a reach. He's moved out towards the church. They will carry the AWP over. 2 will survive for Lucky 7, 1 will survive for Order. And yet again, the gap shrinks. 7 for Order, 6 for Lucky 7. And the MP9 on the back of Imagine. There was a utility run going out towards 9. It did not catch anyone off guard. It looks like they were expecting an aggression play from Lucky 7 and they did not oblige to that. Alistair will open proceed because Liaz gets a flash in the face, but we'll get a frag. And stares down a potential second and will take out Animus. So now injecting Chris Wow versus 4. And the bomb is on the back of Inject, him being the AWPer, and he is forever away from his compatriot Chris Wow. So that leaves Lucky 7 in a very early dilemma with 1 minute and 5. And Sicko has made it even more difficult, having eyes on the bomb and taking out the heavy hitter in Inject. Chris Wow did take out Imagine, but he had only an MP9, so not all that much was lost. So we go into round number 15, and oh boy, looks like someone actually declared superiority in the end, in the bitter end, and it looked like Lucky 7 were finally broken in terms of economy. But the Eagles, Australia loves them, you all love them. Crispy one digs are always fun. Let's see if Lucky 7 can deliver. And Lightstep in the apartments, and Imagine will promptly dispatch of them. So that any potential sneak attack from that direction has been promptly thwarted, and the numbers are thinning for Lucky 7. Their luck is running out for this first 15 rounds, and that will be the end of that. 9-6 at the change for this first map in this best of 2, and a potential flawless streak to keep going for Order, and a shake-up in the standings should Lucky 7 win. So there is a lot riding on this at a change. As a reminder, you are watching the ESL Australia and New Zealand Championships first season for 2018, covered by CappingTV, and my name is Justin, aka Cyberwaste, and I have been on the call, and I thank you for joining me. We go into the second half now. Looks like we will have a fully armored up Lucky 7 side with a kit and a nade. a kit and a HE on Animus, and we have your nade man of Imagine with 2 flashes and a smoke, and the rest are armored up for order. Aggression coming out from Lightstep, perhaps wanting to see if they will move down second mid on the attacking side. B though, he has an Lightstep getting acquainted. Diaz came out slightly worse for wear. Lightstep has had the wool pulled over him. They're at a 4 versus 4 and now thinning ever still thanks to Imagine and Hats. And now we are at an even 3 versus 3. And Alistair will make that square again. And now Inject is all that is left. It is a 1 versus 3 to take the site and defuse the bomb. But is he able to do it? And it is short in time too, because nobody bought a kit. But Imagine he's not actually in a position to defend this bomb properly. If he plays this poorly, Inject could actually get his hands on a defuse, but too much time has elapsed. So it looks like Inject, despite his 2k for the round, will end up giving the round to Order, and that will bring them to double digits, and EMAG will go down with the explosion. So a tiny victory for Lucky 7 in that one player survived, as opposed to none for Order, but they do not get a round tally, which is ideally what they would have wanted after the bomb went down. 2 MAC-10s and a UMP, so they're definitely wanting to bolster that economy early on and make sure the CTs do not get going. 2 5.7s. You don't hear much about the 5.7 anymore, although it was much touted for a long period of time. On CZ. All faithful. The members of Order are gathered outside of Banana and wanting to blunt force both of the defenders. As will take down one of them, that being Inject. Hats is extremely low though, on 7 HP. Playing against Lucky 7, I find that oddly fitting. The bomb will go down thanks to Imagine. And they're throwing bullets in the general direction of Lucky 7. Imagine will take out Chris Wow. It looks like all the members that were sitting on A, expecting the members of Order to go there, they were not greeted with such luck. They will be aiming to survive and perhaps catching a single low HP player on the way out, but it looks like Order is having no intent of giving them such a luxury. So we will get to 11 for Order, and another round that Lucky 7 will have to cop and let Order go to 12 before getting a decent buy, barring any strange happenstance, of course, which they can kind of conjure if they so choose, given 3 survived with a little bit of utility as well, and the CZs are definitely no slouch. Order just restocking utility and armor and keeping their weaponry from the previous round. I mean, if the MAC-10 and the UMP will work, why not? We'll go up 9. There is only 1 defender. They've stacked the A site, and Animus being chunked down already. So it would appear that 2 of the members at least are wanting to defend the rest of the power pistols that are on the table for Lucky 7. I can respect that strat a lot, actually, given how much the weaponry will end up costing for the CT side. They are far more expensive. So any time you can scrimp and save, it'll be of great benefit to you. But the stack did not pay off for Lucky 7, and the bomb will go down. And now the question beckons, do Order give chase with a couple of the submachine gunners? Looks like EMAG's on the run at least. He's moving in towards CT spawn and moving in towards the library. We'll be calling something out at least. Inject trying to scrape EMAG's head clean off, but it's not going to happen from the looks of things. And Leo's just wanted to squish the rest of the defenders and try not to leave anyone alive and nobody will survive thanks to the 2k from Liaza, 2k from Imagine. Even though he went down, that was quite a good haul for him there. That is 12 now for Order. And we go into the first gun round. It's a little bit scant for utility as well, with Animus holding nothing and no helmets. Although you do consider that there are AKs on the table, it's not as big of a deal as you may think. On the stalemating phase, Lucky 7 cannot afford to have this map run away. Zeph does make the first point of contact and will actually strong arm Liaz. And a little bit of a love tap from Alistair will take down Sicko. And that could end up coming back to bite them as well. A couple of members of Lucky 7 are a little bit tagged up, but it is of no concern as of late because none of them are clear to engage. Bomb is still down at T ramp, so they're not even close to considering a hit. But they will have to very soon, moving down to 40 seconds. Inject exercising Zen-like patience, holding this angle down. Banana is not. He's felt a presence, but hasn't pulled the trigger yet. There he goes. He does not hit payload there. So we'll actually take down Imagine. And stopping a potential pincer. Inject does bag his man named Hats. Chris O'Wow will take down Alistair. And the Orpa of Sicko is the only one that survives, and he won't survive anymore with bullets in his brain and his chest. So that'll be 7 rounds for Lucky 7 that live up to their namesake. But Order can definitely buy in and order up everything with all the trimmings. So Lucky 7 haven't done all their work yet, not by a long shot. Double op setup, as a matter of fact, between Inject and Zeph. It's definitely been a heavy hitter, so there's definitely a cause for concern for the Order camp. They may want to keep an eye on him. And EMAG on 19 frags being the front line for Order, but everybody else seems to be a little bit more tight-knit. Every player's in double digits, which is a good sign. Chris O'Well will step out towards Nana, will take down Hats and chunk up Sicko really badly. And EMAG is finally able to reply, but very early on, Order is on the back foot. And despite having the heavy hitter of Imagine still on the table, he is down to half HP. So, Lucky 7 can breathe easy for the time being. Utilities coming out, and T side is moving in towards the A side by the quad/diggity position. Zeph is left to contend. He will be taken out by Alistair. Animus will reply from the pit and say, "To the death pit with you," says Alistair. Now it's 2 versus 2. Alistair and Imagine versus Lightstep and Inject. Inject with the AWP and a weapon he is quite proficient with, so definitely a cause for concern and a potential pincer on the cards if Lightstep steps correctly. Alistair trying to get people to move. Lightstep's been caught out by Alistair, and Alistair will dispatch of him in quick, order. And too much time has elapsed. Inject deems it far too risky. The AWP is far too valuable and will backpedal and run away. The bomb will explode. 2 will survive for Order. And off a 3k from Alistair, Order will go to 13-7, and that leaves, like I said, in quite a bit of a dilemma with an AWP in the hands of Inject. They can rally up a buy to prevent Order from going to 14, but it will be rather ropey. Looks like they're erring on the side of caution and just wanting to protect inject and perhaps make the AWP go to work. Say, we've scavenged you, we've kept you alive for a reason. He's got a plentiful bounty of targets and we'll get a juicy one and imagine the top fragger in the server. But Liaz will reply, not have the heavy man go out just yet. Zep will take out Alistair with the CZ-75. The AWP still looms large despite him being down to 35 HP. He doesn't have a frag to his name, so he does not have to do anything. Zep scavenged a weapon as well. And armor to his name as well, that should be noted. So, early man advantage for Lucky 7. Not even a minute left to go, and Order is wondering, what do we do? And perhaps not wanting to stay in Nana to run the risk of getting pinched. Utility is running in. It looks like the B side's the call, and that might not be a wise decision. Unless Sicko can make shots like that. He will take out the orb carrier, inject. Liaz and Hats will thin the numbers, and now Lightstep moving in from Nana is all that remains. And just like that, things are starting to act as they theoretically should. But in the grand scheme, a success for Lucky 7, aside from bringing Order closer to match point. They are on 14 now, and they double Lucky 7's current round total of 7. A buy will come in, though. After that, the orb was taken off the table, though. At least in terms of the buys. The orb is still in play, though, on the back of Sicko. So that will be Inject's primary target, to try and take him down and take that off of the table, or bring it over to the CT side. A bit of a utility exchange very early on in Nana, which seems to be the order of things. And moving out towards the sandbags, we'll take down Inject. So wow, does end up replying, but Hats has avenged his fallen teammate with quick vengeance, and also swift as well. And Alistair will thin out the numbers. It looked like it was a full-blown flurry of frags, Hats being a 2-frag recipient that round. And that brings Order to match point, and Lucky 7 in a very, very dire strait. You're down to your last set of chips, gentlemen. You have to lay it all out, or you are going home without a map win to your name. And that will keep Order's streak intact at a 7-0 thus far in Group A. Animus and Zeph together in apartments, though, with guns as powerful as the CZ. They are definitely no slouches. Animus will bag too. And Alistair will quickly reply with 2 of his own. The good side of that, the weapons were not salvaged, but it looks like Zeph is aiming to change that. The AK is actually at his feet. He's very paranoid about a potential engagement at the bottom of the stairs, but he does get himself an AK for his troubles. There's only a sole defender on the B site now, but not so sole for too much longer. Crystal Wow does go down at the hands of Hats. The rotate might be a tiny bit too late. Inject is throwing lead down range as the bomb will be planted. Now a 2 versus 3 for Lucky 7. Stay alive. Alistair holding the angle for the church. Will get one. Will be replied to by Zep. But Sicko and Hats versus Zep. And Sicko will say that is enough of that. And that will be the round and map falling to Order. And after that, the streak remains intact in terms of map wins. They are now at 7-0 after that 16-7 victory over Lucky 7. And we will move on to our second map of Train very shortly. You are on CappingTV watching the ESL Australia and New Zealand Championships first season for 2018. I have been Justin, aka Cyberwaste. I thank you for joining me, and you, and everyone, and we shall return very shortly. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and frag fanatics from all around the world. I am Justin, aka Cyberwaste, and you are watching the ESL Australia and New Zealand Championship Season 1 for 2018, and I'm bringing you a marquee matchup between Order and Lucky 7, which is a set of two maps. We've just gone through the first one, that being Inferno, which fell to Order 16-7, and now we are on the second map of Train. As a quick reminder, Lucky 7 are Zeph, Lightstep, Animus, Injector, Chriso, Wow, and Order R. Liaz, Sicko, Alistair, Hats, and Imagine. And it looks like we're going quick and furiously into the pistol round. They're wasting no time. Fully armored up, aside from Animus with the kit and smoke grenade. And with the smoke of the Molotov is Imagine, and the rest are armored up for Order. Moving in towards the brown holes. They're not wasting any time. Ooh, Lucky 7 almost had a flying V formation. I could have made a mighty duck stroke, but that would have flown over all of your heads. Ha. But ducks don't really fly. Whatever. Looks like Order is spilling out towards the B side. Zeph is holding the long sight line and will take down Hats. The bomb carrier Alpha Alistair has replied with a frag and punching in the digits as we speak. Bomb will go down, but the manpower is in the favor of Lucky 7. So mission accomplished in the grand scheme, but Sicko is aiming to keep everything alive. And we'll take down 2 and make that 3. Sicko's saying, I can do this myself. And that is exactly what happens. A quick and easy 4K will bring Order to the opening pistol round, falling to them. And thank you, Sicko, for racking up 4 skulls for the pool room. Order's gonna love you. Well, Lucky 7 even want to reply. It doesn't look like they even considering it, but Crystal Wow has a Mag 7. I'll admit my curiosity is peaked very high off of that purchase right there. I would love to see where it goes. We're moving out towards Ivy. And thanks for the CZ75. Well, in the numbers, we're taking out Liaz. But Animus has been replied to. Now, mere formalities from here on out, it would seem, with Sicko still keeping on his rampage. But Zeph and his Desert Eagle have had something to say about it, but it looks like Order is starting to stay the ship. And Chris Wow and his Mag 7 are all that remains. Good luck. It's on the open site, too, of the A-bomb site, the trade yard. So, good luck, Chris. We're all counting on you. Doesn't look like anything will be exchanged. As well as really hanging around, he might want to test his luck a little later on with someone stepping around the Z position. But now they're starting to move out towards T-spawn and holding onto their weaponry. And Chris Wow will do the same. So the Mag 7 will be carried over. A souvenir from ESL 1 KWC 2016 with 3D Max. Ooh, who remembers them? That will be 2 now for Order. And looks like they will be aiming to sweep out the formalities. Get a clean pistol follow-up. And Order will still be wanting to win this map outright and keep their clean streak going. And Alistair and Liaz are getting 2 very easy frags each. And Chris Wow, yet again with that Mag 7. He does have a little bit of a better chance to make that go to work, with Alistair and Hats being a little bit digged up. But the question is, can he close the gap? Hats might do it for him. Sicko has been taken out of commission by the Mag 7, but that'll be enough of that. So that's 3 in a row. And a 3K for Liaz and Nakalil. That'll be something to smile about. Full buy and the double op setup. They're not messing around. Inject and Light Step will be your man. Holding the big green guns, and no one will be on the table for order. So Leah's still holding onto that Galil too. Bit of a curious choice, but I guess if you're feeling it, why not? Still on the feeling of the face. Inject letting the orb sing and let its presence known by taking out hats. And Leah's is heavily digged up. Maybe be shot through the electric box if he's not careful. Ebag and Liaz will reply. Alistair will reply in turn. But 130 HP combined for the remaining members of Order, compared to a whole lot more. But a human being and a half more on the side of Lucky 7. But the bomb will go down. So that will force Lucky 7 to get a wriggle on. They'll be able to keep Ebag alive as long as they can. Could have been flashed out of position. Injected Animus. Replied in quick turn, and Chris Wow will put a bow on that. So Lucky 7 survived with 3. Both the orbs are retrieved. And the goose egg is broke. Lucky 7 get the board and survive with 3 and keep their double orb setup intact. They're definitely able to buy up though. Will they risk buying an orb in turn and giving it to Hats? It looks like they're going against it in favor of more utility. I can understand that and respect that quite a bit. Might be aiming to just leg it out towards the brown ramp. Christopher caught completely unawares by Alistair. And just like that, they just rushed the big bomb side down, shattered the defense, and forced Lucky 7 to get a wriggle on. Lightstep will balance the scales by taking out Alistair, but has taken a lot of damage for the trouble as well. Lightstep will be put out of his misery by Sicko. Shot to the brain. To keep his rampage going, Liaz will reply as well. So that's 2 for Sicko, 2 for Liaz, and a 4th for Lucky 7, and potentially another round going to Order. Looking at their economic standing, it is not in a good way. This will be a jumble sale buy if they even decide to go for it. They are deciding to go for it in the most unique way I could ever comprehend. 3 scouts, a CZ-75 and a 5.7, 3 members armored up. They are wanting to keep this at a distance. And Inject will put things off to a good start by taking out Sicko. Oh, still in the back of Alistair though. Leah's just being a bit of a meat shield for Inject, but looks like aside from that little bit of a misstep, things are going swimmingly for Order now. And now Lucky 7 is down to 1 man, that being Lightstep. Looks like with that, the B side has been given the all clear. The bomb carrier of Alistair will go down, punch in the digits, and get a little bit of extra money in the bank for the terrorist side. And Lightstep is making it costly though, but Alistair will stop his rampage. A 2k for Inject, a 2k for Alistair, and a 2k for Liaz. They'll be 5-1 now for Order, moving into round number 7. It looks like after that little bit of an experiment that almost paid off for Lucky 7, they have come to their senses and not invested a single dollar into this round. So this will come down to whether they can put pistol rounds into people's faces. And stacking on the A side, which, no, judging from Order's current positions, aside from being outside of Pop Dog, doesn't look like it will come to fruition. 2 are defending the B side, but only with Heckler and Co. UMP 45s. USP for you guys. Excuse me. They have very similar abbreviations. Consistency. Liaz and Sicko will combine. Sicko's the only one that is heavily tagged up, but even then, the AWP can be retrieved. Sicko and Alistair bought heavily low. But as we'll say, no more of that, and Animus is all that is left. He is stuck in the showers and wondering, what do I do? Can somebody fetch me a towel? And EMAC will prompt the dispatch of him in the showers. We're brought to 6. A little bit of damage done to order, but nobody's fell. So that damage was basically all for naught. Got a full buy now, and it's a little bit stretched for Lucky 7. They're wanting to prevent the economy from running away from them. Looks like it might have already happened, judging from the current T-side standing. They are staring dead on at Inject in the brown halls. That exchange did not come out good in terms of fragging power, but yeah, it's down to 16 already, so we may need to tread carefully. So and has having a little bit of an exchange, trading bodies. Alistair will be the sacrifice. The Orber of Inject did get torched a little bit and taken out by Imagine. Liaz on the rotate duty will take down 2 of the Proud Halls, and EMAC will put a bow on it. So that is now 7 for order now, with a 2k from Liaz, a 2k from Imagine for round number 8. We move into round number 9, and Lucky 7 wondering where all their luck went and how they could get it back, because it has become increasingly difficult to find. Order on an absolute tear, 4 in a row, and obviously 7 of the last 8. And unless Lucky 7 can get close, or maybe get a couple of lucky one-taps with the CZ. Looks like Jack putting that P2000 to work. That may appear to be all. EMAG slipping up on his lines a little bit. But despite Inject's best efforts, Order will be in a position to win out the half after 9 rounds. Which, even as traditionalists go, and knowing the latest statuses of Train in other leagues of play, you do not expect the blowout to go this hard in favor of the T's. You expect the CTs to have a little bit more fight in them. But fight they will, judging from their buy. They're fully bought up on both sides. This is the true test. And a test as to whether or not Lucky 7 could steady the ship and shrink the gap. Zeph have come to a bit of an exchange. I'm taking a little bit of damage for it too. 3 out towards the Ivy position, one of them being the bomb carrier of Imagine. Getting him a little bit of a tango with Animus, and Animus will actually come out on top. So it could be the first smiling ray of hope for Lucky 7, as they may actually get a clean round out of it. It is all down to Sicko in a 1 versus 5. Yes, some of Lucky 7 are tagged up, but that doesn't matter if you can't finish them off. Now, Lucky 7 have doubled their round score and left everyone alive to boot, which as a CT you would want, because things are a lot more expensive when you are on the defense. Double AWP setup is still in play between Zep and Inject, and Sicko has brought up his big green gun on the terror side. Is the gun actually green? No, it's a grey one. He's got the graphite skin, which is cool, but skins are kind of annoying because I can't use the term the big green gun anymore with fear of it being inaccurate. Speaking of which, Zeph will let his go and take out the AWP counterpart of Sicko. So that's left of them without a heavy hitter. At least in terms of the weaponry. In terms of the actual aim, Order still has it in spades, so you can't count them out yet. Loss here would be very detrimental to Lucky 7. Yes, despite surviving with 5, their economic standing is oh so poor. Being reset would be a nightmare, because it would get roughly 1,500 off of a round loss, and that's barely enough to scrape up a buy. Hats will square things up. Animus is still behind the oil tanker near the bomb site. Inject will take out Alistair as well. So now 4 vs 2 for Liaz and Imagine to contend with. The bomb will go down, but there are some very, very angry CTs wanting to clear the area. Imag taking Animus down on the high ground and Lightstep from the green train. So now things have gotten a little bit more interesting. Zep with the CZ75 cannot finish up the kill, but with the Shadow Daggers will send Emag to his demise. Now Liaz in a 1 vs 2, and like a ninja in the night, Liaz will clean up the mess. And now 9 for Order, and in amongst that very strange series of events, Lucky 7 are wondering, what do we do now? We've been broken and have no idea where to go. It looks like all they've brought up are pistols, 2 Desert Eagles, 2 CZs, a little bit of nade usage as well, and that's quickly dispatched off by Lightstep. Sicko getting a little bit toasty, but that doesn't really mean much. Now thinned out to Chris. Oh wow. Enough damage dealt has been given to kill the equivalent of 1 player in the server, but it's not spread out as such. Liaz did come close, but he does take out Chris Wow and bring Order to double digits. And amongst all that, if you're Lucky 7, do you just suck it up and try to win out the rest of the rounds? At this point, you really have to get a 10-5, because that's the at least respectable scoreline at the change. Because if you get the pistol round of the 2 rounds that follow, you can easily bring it to a closer scoreline. Zep will bring that ever closer by taking out Liaz, and Sicko will reply, and so will Alistair. The contender is 2 on the bomb train, 1 being Animus, who's been torched to death, the other being Inject. The Inject is far too preoccupied with the rest of the members of Order, and Chris Wow moving towards T-spawn. Does he play the hero? Moving on towards Ivy. It looks like he is aiming against playing the hero, just wanting to play the lone survivor on the island, standing on and near the giant container near T-spawn. Maybe wanting to catch a couple out. It's going eye to eye with Hats and Sicko. Let his presence be known though. Do they engage? Not quite. Hats did come close, but Chris Wow did end up holding onto that M4 by standing behind the crate. 11 for Order though. And they're back on another stretch after that first stretch of 5. Into round 14. And it looks like Lucky 7 are not even wanting to fight it. Just like Chris Wow try to hold onto that M4 or just let it be spread around. Sicko, not even needing his rifle, will take out Lightstep with the sidearm there. Lucky 7 just aiming to keep bodies alive more than anything. Lightstep making an almost fatal mistake there. He's down to 4 HP, but does still survive by taking out Zep. Chris actually getting a reply, so when it's all said and done, that single rifle is paid off. But do Order give chase? Looks like Liaz is aiming to do such a thing. Judging from the current position of Chris Wow, it may be wise to do it. coming in on his position. Does he even know? So wow, does take out one. Will take out two, as a matter of fact. But Alistair will put the bookend on it and have the final say. The orb is retrieved for order. Going into the final round of map number 2's first half. All rifles across the board for the defending side of Lucky 7. Pretty chunked up in terms of utility, pretty beefy in terms of that. Big green gun of Sicko. Definitely someone to keep an eye on. Liaz at 17 and 6. Definitely want to shut him up as well. He's been running rampant all over Lucky 7, but Alistair definitely being no slouch either. The top point scorer thus far, and EMAG and Alistair will combine to delete Inject. And even with 1:05 to go, the A side has been completely abandoned. So perhaps the two remaining members of Lucky 7 are wanting to play strength in numbers or play a potential piece, but it might not come to fruition. It definitely won't now, with Liaz taking out Chriso. Wow. And now Animus is a man on an island and a man on a mission. And a man running out of time. With 4 very angry T's, a bomb down and ticking away. And only playing for pride. Sicko will put a bookend on the first half of Trainer. That will be 13-2 in favor of Order. A dominant T half from them. And a very stellar way to start a potential flawless streak still in this season. And you're watching CappingTV and their ESL coverage for the AU&NZ Championships first season for 2018. And I have been Justin, aka Cyberwaste, on the call. I thank you for joining me. I thank you for joining us. Now, fully armored up on the side of Order from end to end. They're wanting to finish this up. And the only man with utility on Lucky 7 is being Animus with 2 flashes and a solitary smoke. All moving down the brown halls. So Lucky 7 will be wanting to make this quick, but Hats will take out Zeph. Bomb is down though, so let's put Order on the move. Give another have a kit. So could be a cause for concern. Chris O'Well has tried to reply, but Sicko screwed the silencer off his USB. Says, screw silence, I can go loud and we'll take out 2. Animus is all that is left, and now he is none. And we get to 14 for Order. Ooh, and that was dominant too after the bomb plant actually went down. 3 will survive. The 2k from Sicko, a 2k from Hats. And Order going ever closer to winning the series 2-0 and keeping their flow streak alive, along with Streamline, who is in their group. And the fight at the top will be very interesting in the very near future. It's like Order banking on a tribe running together, and it looks like they have maybe a little bit more than he could chew, with Animus and Lightstep replying to EMAG and Alistair. The aggression is biting them hard. Liaz will take out Inject in quick order, but the manpower and HP is in favor of Lucky 7. It'll be up to one rifle of Hats to reply. Doing a good job so far taking out Zeph. Hasn't seen the low HP player of Animus. That's because he's dead, because he ate a nade to the face. Chris O'Well will take out the heavy hitter of Sicko. Evenly keeled, 2 versus 2. Lightstep actually tagged up Chris O'Well. He might be mad at him now because Hats finished him off. Now, Lightstep still has the bomb on his back, but both Liaz and Hats are too aware of his position. So it's up to him to make a move. Moving down to 30 seconds. He's staring directly at the bomb train. If I can make the cross, I can put the bomb down and make them come to me. He's making the cross now. It's directly behind them. He's perhaps wanting to thin the defense. He's not going to do it. The bomb will go down. The digits are punched. Now Hats as well, and Hats easily takes care of him. And that is a 4K for him on that round. And thanks to that Herculean effort by Hats, that will be bringing them to match point. And not a moment too soon. 14 to 2 turns into 15. And Lucky 7, yet again, for a name like Lucky 7, they have had an abundant lack of luck at all. At least judging from this map and the last that we brought you earlier this evening, which was a 16-7 on Inferno. This could be an even more brutal 16-2 if Lucky 7 can at least show a sign of life. A sign that there is a pot of gold at the end of the mythical rainbow for them. Towards Hot Dog. And Injected Cruiser, wow, really wanting to keep the fight going. Take a lot of damage for it. The bomb is on the back. And will actually go down now on the A bomb site, and it's easier to defend now that they're all in position. Imag is having a say about that though. We'll take out oh wow, after Alistair's assistance, Zeph and Inject being a force with a good strong crossfire. Now a 2 versus 2 though, with Hats and Magic being at full HP, and now Zeph being the lone survivor on the Overwatch, and now the Predator's been known, and Hats will make him drop like a stone. And an absolutely dominant set from Order there. A 16-2 will conclude this series between Order and Lucky 7. And the flawless run for Order continues. They are now 8-0 in their group, along with Streamline. But if my settings are to be believed, they have a higher map differential, a much higher map differential, so they take the top spots in Group A at the conclusion of tonight's games. That will be a 2-0 set for Order over Lucky 7. A 16-7 on Inferno and a 16-2 battering on Train, and that is where we will leave you this evening. We thank you all for joining us tonight on CappingTV and our coverage of the ESL Australia and New Zealand Championships, first season for 2018. I have been Justin. You have been wonderful. Good night and happy fragging.